Welcome back to Africa 54. Let's go over to our anchor at large, Ndimiake Mwakaliele, who will introduce us to a fascinating man. Hello, Ndimi.
Fascinating man indeed. Sulayman Nyang's career as an Africanist and professor of African Studies at Howard University here in Washington, D.C. spans more than 40 years. He's a native of Gambia, and Professor Nyang has published extensively on a variety of issues affecting Africa and the diaspora. He has also written at length on Islam, African politics, culture, and even social and economic development. VOA's Paul Ndiho takes us behind the scenes in this profile of Dr. Sulayman Nyang.
When I came to the United States, I became a part of a longer tradition of Africans coming to the United States for higher education. Long before Kwame Nkrumah came to America, Nnamdi Azikiwe, who became a journalist in Ghana, the very year Kwame Nkrumah left in 1935 to come here, I came to America in 1965. My name is Sulayman Nyang from the Gambia originally. I have been teaching here at Howard since 1972. I have taught a number of students in the hundreds. The impact may go to thousands of Howard students and beyond Howard University. So what attracted all these kids to me was the course I was teaching at African Studies. This was the moment of the liberation movements. I taught courses like Pan-Africanism. I taught the African Liberation Movement classes. I teach political parties in Africa. But the Africans were going to do transition. So these were well-attended classes. And many of these young kids, Afro-Caribbean kids, there are many of them who are my students. You have many African-American kids, of course they're the majority at Howard, and then you have a large number of African students who are here. So you have all this Pan-African theme. And then some of them were Arabs, or some other people from other parts of the world who came here to Howard. So my interest in teaching revolved around my fascination with history of the human condition. That is why when I was collecting books, I tried to get as many books on the historical narratives. So at Howard, books dealing with the African story. And many scholars were beginning to write a lot of books on Africa. And see, I became very much involved with those narratives. And this is how many students over the years found in me an echo chamber of their research. At least whatever they're saying has echoes in me. So they can come to me. I get to go and see Dr. Nyang. I have this idea, concept. Let me see how he feels about it. So teaching has been a very strong passion for me. And I'm very proud of the fact that a number of young people came here and were educated under my tutelage. And thank God they have gone back to do similar things as professors in various universities around the world today. And many of their students are coming to me because these are considered by myself academic grandchildren who were educated by my students. And that's what you dream for. So if you're a professor, you're educating young people, you have to tell them, please, please, if you have a society where you have bargaining and compromise, don't upset the apple cart. Allow the people to coexist and live with one another. So my job as a professor, as an elder, as an advisor, a mentor, is to make sure that I keep them focused. The 3 P's, persistence, perseverance, together with patience. The 3 P's become very important for the young people. Tell them, keep on pushing to the point that you will get to where you want to go. So my advice to the young people here and all over the world, the forces of globalization are making life meaningful if human beings are willing to build the bridges of social cooperation and harmony.
Well, I have to say, you know, most of you, our audience, know of Dr. Nyang. He's been on our show so many times, but never in this capacity. So I really have to applaud Paul for at least bringing us the person behind the Dr. Nyang, whom we've grown so familiar with over the years. Such a wealth of knowledge and such a humble man. Actually happens to be one of my personal favorites. And that advice that he gave Vincent, the 3 Ps. I mean, it's invaluable even for the not so young, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, I personally have been fascinated by Professor Nyang over the last about 10 years. I've interacted with him. He is more than an encyclopedia. He's a fellow you feel like you want to clone. He knows everything about the history of Africa in the U.S. and the way he can weave all these things together and then give that relevance to the current situation is just
it's so
amazing.
refreshing to see him and hear his story in this way. So great heads up to you, Paul.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Back to you, Vincent.
Yeah, that's a lot. Well, thanks a lot, Ndimi, too, for sharing.